Have you ever pondered upon the concept of ultimate liberation, or as it's known in Hindu philosophy, moksha? This is not just an idea, it's a profound journey towards self-realization and spiritual freedom. Moksha, a Sanskrit term, represents the pinnacle of human spirituality. In the vast and diverse landscape of Hindu thought, it signifies the dissolution of the individual self into the universal consciousness, breaking the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. In the modern world, where our lives are often dictated by material pursuits and societal pressures, the concept of moksha can seem both intriguing and elusive. It offers a perspective that transcends these worldly concerns and elevates the human experience to a realm of absolute peace and realization. It's not just a philosophical concept, but a way of life, a path to ultimate truth and liberation. So let us delve deeper into understanding moksha and its significance in Hinduism. In the vast expanse of Hindu philosophy, moksha holds a prominent place. This concept, often translated as liberation or release, signifies the ultimate goal of human life according to Hindu philosophy. But what exactly is moksha? And why is it so crucial in the grand scheme of existence? To truly grasp the concept of moksha, we must first understand the cyclical nature of life, as perceived in Hinduism. In this worldview, life is not a linear journey from birth to death. Instead, it's a cycle, a wheel of existence known as samsara. It is a cycle of birth, death, and rebirth, an ongoing series of transformations, each lifetime providing an opportunity to learn, grow, and evolve. Moksha, then, is the end of this cycle. It's liberation from samsara, a release from the continuous loop of life and death. It's the attainment of a state beyond suffering, beyond desire, beyond the transient nature of physical existence. Moksha is a profound, eternal peace and bliss that transcends our worldly understanding. This concept may seem foreign, even incomprehensible, to those accustomed to Western philosophies that emphasize linear progression and individual achievement. But in Hinduism, the achievement of moksha is not seen as an end, but a beginning. It's the beginning of an existence unbound by the limitations of the physical world, free from the constraints of time and space. Moksha is not about escaping from life, but rather about attaining a state of being that is in perfect harmony with the universe. It's about realizing the divine within oneself, understanding the interconnectedness of all beings, and experiencing the profound peace that comes from this realization. In essence, moksha is the realization of our true nature, the discovery of our divine essence, and the liberation from the illusions that bind us to the cycle of samsara. It's a state of supreme knowledge, ultimate freedom, and eternal peace. Now that we have a basic understanding of moksha, let's explore how one can achieve it. The path to moksha isn't a single road but a confluence of many. In the tapestry of Hindu philosophy, three primary threads weave together the path to liberation: jnana, bhakti, and karma. Jnana, or knowledge, is a path steeped in the pursuit of the truth. It is a journey of self-discovery where one seeks to understand the inherent nature of the self and the universe. The Upanishads, ancient Hindu scriptures, often refer to this path as the way of the wise. It's not about amassing information, but rather about unveiling the ultimate reality beneath the layers of illusion. On the other hand, bhakti, or devotion, is the path of love and surrender. It's about cultivating a deep personal relationship with the divine. This isn't a path of intellectual understanding, but rather an emotional bond that transcends the rational mind. Devotees on this path often express their devotion through rituals, chanting, and meditation centered around their chosen deity. And then we have karma, or the path of righteous action. This path is about performing one's duties and responsibilities with sincerity and without attachment to the results. It's about living a life of selflessness, where actions are performed not for personal gain, but for the welfare of others. Each path is unique, yet interconnected. They are like different rivers flowing into the same ocean, each carrying its own essence, but ultimately merging into the vastness of the divine. You may choose one path over the others, or you may tread on all three, for they are not mutually exclusive. In fact, the Bhagavad Gita, another profound scripture of Hinduism, beautifully illustrates this interconnectedness. It portrays how Krishna, the divine guide, reveals to Arjuna, the seeker, that the paths of jnana, bhakti, and karma all lead to the same destination, moksha. These diverse paths to moksha highlight the inclusive and flexible nature of Hinduism. But what does achieving moksha imply? Achieving moksha is like reaching a state of ultimate freedom. Imagine a bird that has been caged all its life. Suddenly, the door of the cage is open. The bird is free. It soars high into the sky, leaving behind the confines of its cage, the limitations of its previous existence. This is what moksha is like. It's the state of ultimate liberation, where the individual self dissolves into the universal self. Now, let's delve deeper into this concept. Moksha is not just about freedom from physical constraints. It's about freedom from the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth, known as samsara. It's about liberation from the bondage of karma, the law of action and reaction. When we say the individual self dissolves into the universal self, what we're really talking about is the dissolution of the ego. The ego, with its attachments and aversions, its desires and fears, is what keeps us bound to the material world. It's what creates the illusion of separation, of duality. But in the state of moksha, this illusion is shattered. There's no more I or you, no more this or that. There's only oneness, only unity. And what does this oneness feel like? It's a state of eternal peace. It's a state of bliss, of pure unconditional love. It's a state where there's no more suffering, no more pain. It's a state where there's no more desire, no more fear. It's a state of being, of pure existence, of pure consciousness. But achieving moksha is not easy. It requires intense spiritual practice. It requires the cultivation of virtues like truthfulness, non-violence, and selflessness. It requires the dissolution of the ego, the transcendence of the mind, the realization of the self. Yet, despite its complexity, despite its profundity, moksha is not an abstract, distant goal. It's a journey, a process, a transformation that each one of us can embark on, here and now. Indeed, moksha is a profound and complex concept that evokes a sense of awe and wonder. It's a concept that invites us to look beyond the superficialities of life, to delve deeper into our own nature, to discover the divine within us. So, what does moksha mean to us in today's fast-paced materialistic world? In the hustle and bustle of our everyday lives, the ancient concept of moksha might seem distant, even irrelevant. But if we pause and delve deeper, we'll find that it holds an immense relevance, now more than ever. In a world where we're constantly chasing more wealth, more success, more possessions, moksha offers a counterpoint. It doesn't dismiss the importance of these pursuits, but rather, it introduces us to the idea of liberation from the relentless cycle of desire and fulfillment. But how does this translate into our daily lives? Imagine living a life where you're not constantly worried about what you don't have, but instead, you're content with what you do have. A life where you're not perpetually stressed about achieving more, but instead, you're at peace with your current state. This is the essence of moksha, liberation from the endless pursuit of more, leading to a life of purpose, peace, and contentment. In practical terms, the quest for moksha can guide us to live more mindfully. It encourages us to appreciate the present moment instead of always looking ahead to the next milestone. It teaches us to find happiness not in external possessions, but within ourselves. But moksha is not about renouncing the world and its pleasures. It's about understanding the transient nature of these pleasures and learning to find joy beyond them. It's about realizing that true happiness and peace come not from what we have, but from who we are. In today's world where stress and dissatisfaction are all too common, the wisdom of moksha can provide a pathway to a more fulfilling life. It's a reminder that we are more than our accomplishments and possessions. It's a call to discover our true selves beyond the noise and clutter of the material world. In essence, moksha is not just a philosophical concept, but a way of life that can lead us to true happiness and peace. As we wrap up our journey into the concept of moksha, let's take a moment to reflect upon what we've learned. Moksha, a profound aspect of Hinduism, represents liberation from the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. It's a spiritual pursuit, a quest for inner peace and ultimate freedom. We've discussed the paths to moksha through knowledge, devotion, and selfless action. These paths are not mutually exclusive but intertwined, each a different avenue to reach that state of liberation. We also explored how moksha still holds relevance in our contemporary world, as it encourages introspection, self-improvement, and the pursuit of a balanced life. This is the beauty of the concept of moksha. It isn't just about reaching a spiritual endpoint, but about the journey, the personal evolution that comes with it. Remember, the journey to moksha is a personal one, full of self-discovery and understanding. So, take your time, explore, and who knows, you might find your path to ultimate liberation.